Hi, this is StrategyCast, where smart marketers and bold business thinkers share the plays behind brand breakthroughs. I'm Lori Jones, President and CEO of Avasec Communications. A lot of companies say they are investing in AI, but far fewer can clearly show what is actually changing inside the business. That disconnect is where marketing has to step in, not to promote the vision, but to help prove the impact. Today, we are breaking down how marketing leaders can close that gap. You will learn how to connect AI initiatives to real business outcomes, how to move from campaign thinking to building systems, and how to demonstrate value in a way that resonates with the C-suite. Our guest today is Mark Abramowitz. He has spent his career helping enterprise companies align marketing with business strategy and scale through moments of transformation.
A competitive edge starts with strategy, and strategy starts with knowing how to develop one. StrategyCast is a leading marketing podcast that serves up strategic insights, trends, and tips to help separate your business from the pack. Tune in weekly as host Lori Jones interviews bold marketing leaders who have priceless wisdom and are willing to share. Each episode explores cutting-edge approaches that have proven instrumental in transforming brands into industry trailblazers.
Welcome to the show, Mark.
Thanks, Lori. Excited to be here. Looking forward to the conversation.
I am too. My goodness, what an incredible background that you have. Before we dive into all things AI, let's roll up our sleeves and tell us a little bit more about your background.
Sure, happy to do that. So I've been at the table for major shifts in enterprise tech. So I was there when SaaS was really getting off the ground at Salesforce. I was at ServiceNow, really helping and bringing the platform first thinking together. And now it's about AI at scale at Data IQ. And so many years ago, I started at Salesforce as a product manager, building product, working with engineers. This was way back when SaaS was just getting going, and the no software assigned was a disruptive approach from a marketing perspective. And at Salesforce, great company, growing. I had an opportunity to move out of product management into marketing and really start to work with CIOs at a time when cloud was still a question rather than a conclusion or a guarantee or like the thing everybody was doing. It was still, should we cloud? How do we cloud? What are we going to do? That was an amazing opportunity to really get deep into the minds of CIOs, which I think has really carried me through a lot of what I've done over the last 20 years. Then I had this opportunity where I got to move to Australia with Salesforce as part of the APAC marketing team, which was an amazing both professional opportunity, but also family opportunity. My two boys were really young, 4 and 2. We moved to Australia. Cool. We spent 5 years living in Sydney and just embracing sort of that expat lifestyle. And while there, actually left Salesforce and got even deeper into marketing, where I had the opportunity to be a global VP of marketing for a Australian SaaS startup. Great experience, learned a ton about marketing, but ultimately we reached the point where it was time to come back to the San Francisco Bay Area. And what happened? I landed back at Salesforce as a true boomerang, as we would say at Salesforce, actually coming back from Australia. And so there is where like phase 2 or chapter 2 of my Salesforce career hit, where I joined the Service Cloud product marketing team, and ultimately that became the largest revenue driving product at Salesforce. I led product marketing, and it's really where I got steeped in strategy, positioning, and messaging as really the foundation for not only great product marketing, but great marketing. And then things
and
continue.
I would agree with that, by the way. I mean, Salesforce is definitely one of those companies that is leading the pack for CMOs globally around the right way to implement marketing. So way to go.
So I call it, and many of us do, like was the product marketing school of Salesforce, where the sharp messaging, sharp positioning, launch, how important launch moments are, not only for external, but also internal alignment, and just understanding how to build great content, great demos, great keynotes, which are 100% transferable to doing data IQ. But before I got here, I spent 4 years at ServiceNow, where I was leading product marketing and solutions marketing for ServiceNow. And that's where I really saw the power of platform first architecture and how important architecture is to an organization like or a software company, where a single platform where you build applications on top, and that really core value proposition, what ServiceNow has become. And probably, well, as exciting and amazing as the people I worked with was when I was there, is when ChatGPT hit the world and changed everything with the oncoming sort of tidal wave of generative AI, and how that changed kind of everything we were doing, not only from a marketing perspective, but from product and sales. But it sped everything up. We went into this like continuous cycle of product innovation, positioning and messaging, launch, customer value. And because everything was just speeding up, it was like every 3 or 4 months, the technology organization was delivering new AI capabilities or Gen AI agents before these things were even, things. And we had just was an amazing opportunity to get to sort of just go on, like repeat, get really good, sharp about launch. And again, strategy, positioning, and messaging really being that foundation.
Such an incredible background. And now, of course, you're at Data IQ. What drew you to that company, especially during this incredible AI moment that we're in right now?
So after Salesforce and ServiceNow and just the amazing opportunities that I had as a product marketing leader, in my mind, it was time to make a change and see how being a chief marketing officer, what that could look like, and what new opportunities and new impact or additional impact I can have. And so I took last summer off, spent time with my family, did some travel, kind of reset. And now I'm here at Data IQ, the platform for AI success. And why I joined Data IQ is because I saw something real and something different, where here it's true platform, a single system that is bringing people and orchestration and governance together. And the traction is real. What Data IQ has already seen a lot of success and is embedded in one of 4 Global 500 companies.
Wow.
Places like LVMH, Johnson & Johnson, Michelin, and really help driving their daily AI operations. And so I saw, again, taking my career, my experience, and the opportunity that is Data IQ, and I am excited not to still be here. I've been here for 9 months. Feels like I just got here, but excited at the things that we're doing.
Yeah, well, I love it. And I love the fact that AI is transforming so much of what we as marketers are involved in and day out. And I want to dive into AI investment versus impact, versus business impact to begin with. And we know that there are companies globally investing in AI, but really struggling to show how it's actually changing. Where do you see the gap most clearly?
So the question used to be, can AI do this? And now what we're hearing is like, did it work? Can you prove it? And these are very different conversations that we're having, that our customers are having with them, amongst themselves and with us. And so from what I can see, budgets aren't disappearing. Boards and executives want to see real ROI from AI. But now they're starting to ask questions like, is this actually driving revenue? Is it improving margins? Is it helping us be more resilient? And so we just released at Data IQ, we just released what we call the Global AI Confessions Report, where we surveyed hundreds of CEOs. This is the CEO edition. And 62% of CEOs say their board is demanding measurable AI outcomes. And I think that last year, that number was not nearly that significant or that high. And so this is where we see the hype window is closing. And I think where companies that are struggling have been treating AI like a technology project. And the ones that are actually scaling it are building it around a business problem the CEO actually cares about.
Right. I think people immediately think the business problem is what it's all about, right? And
Always has been,
it
or
always
always should be. Yeah.
yeah, and there we have a litany of them. It doesn't matter what stage you are at or how well your revenue stream is. There are still business problems to be solved. At what point do you feel the boards, the business leaders really started to question, are people using this just to be more efficient versus are they using AI to solve the business problems that we know exist quicker, faster, less money, all the above?
So I think it's been a pretty quick change. I think if you roll back, I mean, if you think about when ChatGPT first hit, it was like the fall of 2020 or October of 2022. So we're only 4 years, not even 3.5 years into this biggest shift in technology that we've ever seen. And so I think over the last year, as we've been talking to customers, they have been shifting where the companies that are struggling, we're kind of worried about getting the right stack, hiring smart engineers, and kind of following this old tech playbook of deploy it, deploy fast and fix later.
Right.
And I've seen some of the world's biggest companies use that playbook. And so one team ends up owning the model, another owns the data, and nobody really owns the outcome. And that's
Right.
kind of how AI fails in the enterprise. And what we've seen is different teams with different platforms trying to solve maybe discrete challenges or problems in their domain. But the ones that are really being successful are thinking about this again at like finding a meaningful business opportunity that they want to go and solve with AI. So what we've seen is a shift probably in the last year from experimenting at the edges to being a more centralized, approach to pulling all these tools together, pulling their people together, making sure that governance is part of the sort of formula, and solving problems that really matter. So
Right.
a customer example is Roche, where they put the people really at the heart of their AI research assistant that they call Lex. And so this is an example of where Roche brought their people together. They brought orchestration of different systems and governance into Data IQ. So the patent attorneys, these are patent attorneys, non-technical folks, used to spend hours digging through thousands of legal documents to find the right precedent. And so with
Right.
Lex, which they built on Data IQ, the patent attorneys built on Data IQ, their research tools are now consolidated into a single agent. And
Right.
attorneys get answers in seconds instead of hours, saving hundreds of thousands of dollars annually in attorney time. And so this was the a real challenge for their attorney or their patent attorneys, but it wasn't something that was done at the edge. It was like, let's centralize, let's work together, let's solve a problem that has meaningful business impact to an organization like Roche.
Is there a common problem that you see across a multitude of organizations that Data IQ is able to solve? Like, I don't know if it's efficiency. I don't know if the strategy's got to be much deeper than that. But what is the most common problem that you see?
So what we've seen is there's three key parts to getting to AI success. And we actually have kind of turned this into a formula that we see across our successful customers, where they bring their people, the expertise of their people, they bring orchestration. So they are able to connect to all the different data platforms, large language models, enterprise apps in their organization, and it has governance built in from the ground up. And so when you have those three things together is how we see customers being successful with Data IQ. And if you're missing one, so maybe you have great integration capabilities, but you haven't empowered your business experts or your domain experts to actually be part of the building of AI agents or agentic processes, well, you're not going to get the best of your people, which is where so much of the knowledge in a company sits, is still sitting in people's heads. And so you've got to have the expertise of your people as part of the process. Some companies have the integration and their people, but there's no oversight, there's no governance. And so you don't know what's being built. And maybe the CRM team is solving one problem and the data platform team is solving the same problem. And when there's no sort of connection and oversight and insight and lineage as to what's being done, you fail. And so we see, whether it's Roche or LVMH or Johnson & Johnson, like they brought all three of these together. They're leveraging the expertise of their people. They are deeply integrated into their various systems and infrastructure, and they have visibility, transparency, and oversight to what's being built from day one. And those are the three things that really matter in being able to be successful with AI, with Data IQ.
So we see a lot of AI get stuck in the narrative point. Like, we've got a lot of problems solved, and people are talking about the problems, but they can't get, past that. They can't get to step one of really solving that. Why do you feel so many companies, I mean, they've got great products in the market, but there's this disconnect between truly solving a problem and knowing how AI can tackle it for them?
So I think a lot of companies, probably more than ever, are technology companies or AI companies. They are kind of still focused on features and functions and capabilities rather than outcomes. And that's actually what I walked into here at Data IQ. Data IQ has been very successful for quite a while and has a very broad and deep platform that solves many problems for different types of users. And when I came in, I said, well, one, who is the main persona, the main buyer we're trying to go after?
Right.
And how do we kind of level up? And so to drive more value and get into conversations that matter at the enterprise level, we had to not just talk about our products, but change our narrative. And one of the first things I did here was to rebrand Data IQ as the platform for AI success. And that's not just a tagline, but a shift in who we were talking to and what we're saying. And so we stopped selling features to data scientists and we started selling outcomes to CIOs. And that's what the platform for AI success is all about. It's a different buyer and a different conversation. And this notion of AI success is not something that we defined in a conference room. It's what our customers are doing. They're the ones who are defining AI success in production.
Yeah.
So another example is BNP Paribas, right, which is a huge French and European banks operating across 35 business units. And they're highly regulated, and they have decades of legacy infrastructure. And so BNP Paribas runs 30,000 sort of risk stress testing scenarios every quarter that are auditable for the European Central Bank. And that's what AI success looks like. And so I am trying to tell a different story, but not just a narrative. It's really about what our customers are achieving with Data IQ. And these types of stories, whether it be Roche or BNP Paribas, are central to this new story of for AI success.
Yeah, I love that. And I think the more outcomes we can sell, the more trust we create along, throughout the sales process, which enables companies to understand precisely how you can benefit them. What do you feel, or what do you know to be the most common outcome that business leaders are looking for today?
I think, so we touched on this a little bit, but having seen these shifts of technology, SaaS, social, mobile, platforms, now AI, I think the fundamentals of what businesses are trying to achieve, kind of like marketing in the same vein, like the outcomes haven't really changed. Companies want to grow their revenue, they want to become more efficient, and they want to reduce exposure or risk. And so we see those are still the outcomes that our customers are driving towards. But today, the tools and the capabilities of how they get there has fundamentally changed.
Right.
And so when we think about how do we help customers drive top line revenue, like that's certainly the CEO level conversation that needs to be had. And then it's up to IT, the AI organizations to go and figure out because how to do that. Because what we also see, like one of the challenges rather than the outcome, is that there's this level of AI chaos that exists today because all of these large companies and Data IQ sells to some of the largest organizations in the world in regulated industries. They have all the same tools. They have all the same data platforms. They have the same CRM, ERP, HR systems, and they all have Anthropic or OpenAI or Amazon Bedrock, or they all have the same tools. And so to get to that outcome of maybe growing revenue or becoming more efficient, it's really about bringing those three ingredients together. How do you harness the power of your people? How do you figure out how to bring all those disparate systems together into a single system? And particularly in regulated industries, how do you ensure the regulators or the CEO or CIO can actually answer the questions from the regulators on how decisions get made? But the outcome is growth, efficiency, and resilience.
Absolutely. Let's shift to marketing for a minute. Where does marketing fit in truly closing the gap between AI strategy and business impact? And, very early on back in 2022, man, everything has moved so quickly, right?
So quickly.
CEOs were asking marketers to lead the AI implementation in the organization because the narrative back then was completely different than the narrative is today. The narrative back then was we were going to use it for content. We were going to use it for efficiency. It was going to put marketers out of business and, just all these sort of things. So that's where the CEO's mindset was. If you take a look at how it has transformed every operation within a business today outside of marketing, it truly is remarkable. And yet, and as we should be, marketing, and its AI impact is very, very, or its AI strategy rather is very, very important on business impact. What are you seeing there?
So I think there's huge opportunity. I think now is the best time to be in marketing. I really do. Like, yes, lots of different functions within an organization are changing, but I think the shift in marketing is this opportunity to become like systems thinkers and be more of an operator mindset that, but the fundamentals of the change are the same. Brand still matters, pipeline still matters, customer proof points and storytelling still matters. But within marketing, I think we have this huge opportunity because we have so much data that is already being collected. And so I think that the old playbook of where you pick a message, pick a launch moment, count impressions, move on, like that era is over.
Yeah.
And so when I look at the opportunity at Data IQ and what we're building, it's very much how do we operate marketing like a system where brand, demand, and customer proof are all connected and feeding each other continuously. It's not something that runs for a quarter, but it's a motion that compounds over time. And it's so amazing to be at Data IQ where we are not only sort of marketing this AI success formula, but we're embracing it inside the company. Where you think about the people that I mostly serve are our sellers and our marketers. And we're orchestrating all these systems, Salesforce, HubSpot, Gong, and it's all connected into a Snowflake data warehouse. And it's governed from day one and means everything is traceable. And so what are we doing? Inside, we have this opportunity to help our sellers not only be more efficient, but I think be more effective. We have built a series of agents on Data IQ. Think about it as drinking our own champagne. For example, we have a pipe gen agent where anyone in sales can gather intelligence on an account or contact that's grounded in all of those systems I just mentioned, Salesforce, HubSpot, Gong. For example, they can ask, give me 3 email sequences for a CIO at a bank in the US and get content that not only is saving them time, but we've tested it and it becomes sharper and more impactful because they will use that and we'll be able to track the signals and the activity that comes back from what they've done to improve the way that that pipe gen agent works. One of the ones that I think is the coolest is we've built a SE demo generator agent. So what this does is it helps all of our SEs, but particularly our newer SEs who may not be as familiar with the ins and outs of Data IQ, to use natural language to describe a demo
Wow.
that's tailored to the customer. And it doesn't build 100%. I mean, it builds a full demo, but maybe it's 80 to 90% complete in a few minutes. And so, again, there's an efficiency angle. But for me, and what I'm driving with my team is, yes, efficiency matters, but I also want the quality of our work to go up. And so, as an example, with this demo generator for anybody really, but we started with SEs, solution engineers, is how do we help the middle of the curve, if you will, on capability and impact, reach like to be elite or amazing. And so that will drive better sales, better conversations with customers, better outcomes for customers because they can more readily see how we can solve those business problems that lead to growth or resilience or efficiency. And I love it. Like, it's, as a product manager at heart, still really, like, to be able to build these systems and bring them together. And it's just an amazing opportunity, not
Yeah.
only for Data IQ and my marketing team, but I think for marketers everywhere.
Yeah, I agree. One thing that has been a common problem for every single business in the world is the alignment between product sales and marketing. How are you seeing AI strategies and AI approaches really align those teams so that, that SE, as he's going to, issue some information to a client and do research on that, there is still that alignment with the upstream product team and the downstream marketing team?
I mean, you've hit on one of the opportunities I think that agents and Gen AI bring is how do you not only align sales, product, and marketing, but to some degree the entire company. And so when you can ground agents in the product strategy, the product positioning, the messaging from a product perspective with an understanding of the market. And that understanding comes from our systems and the conversations that we're having, but also from being able to look outside to data providers, to newer tools that are giving you signals of what's happening out there, and almost creating this like Data IQ brain that melds those aspects together and having a way that there's feedback going in both in all 3 directions. Like, marketing does things that influence product, sales does things that influence marketing and product, and it's just like this continuous loop of information. And when it's grounded on a single platform like Data IQ, we can capture the types of questions that are being asked, the types of output that are being generated. And because it's connected to our core CRM and marketing systems, we know if it's working or not.
Yeah.
And so, again, it's like this amazing opportunity to get the company on the same page, because I think back to maybe where we started this question on, it's an opportunity for marketing to lead.
It is.
And I take that I see it as an opportunity for me personally, but also for Data IQ, where we're out in front. Back to your question on like marketing should be leading when it comes to AI and generative AI and agent implementation. And because we're the front, we're like the tip of the spear. We're out in front. And so launches still matter, moments still matter, and those are the way that like you're going to align product and sales, is to pick those moments and make sure that it's clear what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how it helps data IQ, not just marketing.
Yeah. And one thing I was reading about that you've talked a lot about is marketers really need to have an operator mindset today. It's moving from campaign execution to system building, from narratives to evidence and repeatability, creating infrastructure that supports AI adoption, measuring impact across funnel and life cycles. I mean, there is a lot to be done there. And that operator mindset is, I think, very much needed there. What does that look like for marketing teams today?
So at Data IQ, I guess today we have a fairly like call it traditional organizational structure: product marketing, digital communications, field and event marketing, and operations and analytics. And there, I think what I see as I talk to my CMO friends and peers, and as I network around, um, there's a real there's two things happening, I would say. Within each of those disciplines, there's clearly an interest and a need and a want and an ability to build out some AI oriented capabilities. Product marketing, maybe building digital twins of your key persona, or digital marketing really out there, like listening for signals and optimizing or personalizing campaigns or things that are happening on the website, or marketing operations, just automating end to end and getting better analytics and insights as to what's happening. So I think you're going to see AI or agentic innovation happening in each discipline. But I also now am sort of adopting this approach is I think you need this notion of go-to-market engineer inside marketing. That this
Right.
is someone who wakes up every day, they can write some code, they understand marketing and sales processes, but they are truly systems oriented, so that you have it's sort of kind of what we talked about with companies. Like maybe there's some experimentation in the marketing parts of the marketing organization, but I see a centralized team or one person. I don't think it needs to be two people. With Data
Right.
IQ as the platform, you don't need a huge team, but they are the solving the bigger problems that have more impact and are fundamentally systems thinkers. And
Yeah.
they know how Salesforce connects to HubSpot or Gong or whatever the systems might be. And they wake up every day like, how do we not only become more efficient, but I'm again firmly believe agents and agentic should help marketers deliver more brand awareness, more pipeline, more account engagement, better customer proof.
We all have a lot of experience pre-AI, and I think it's interesting to reflect on then and now. What lessons from your time with ServiceNow and Salesforce apply directly to this moment?
So many. And I think back to like product marketing as a discipline. Like I think, yes, there are like three traditional ways to land up in the office of the CMO. You're brand oriented, you're demand oriented, and now I think we've seen a rash of product marketers becoming CMOs. And so I think about the discipline again of clear strategy, clear positioning, clear messaging, launches, and sort of just that core discipline is something I learned at both of those companies. But one of the other things I think that is really impactful is this notion of trust
Mm.
and how it starts in the product story, and then how does it show up everywhere.
Right.
And both of those companies, like trust wasn't a feature, and it can't be a feature. It can't just be a message. It's got to be in every touch point, in brand, in sales, in customer support, in the product itself. And the consistency of that at scale is what actually builds trust. And you can't just do it with a campaign. You need to kind of bake it into your values and into how you operate. And customers know the difference, right? You can't fake it. Buyers are already skeptical, and the window to build trust is so narrow. And in AI, you just don't get a second chance.
Yeah.
And inauthenticity here gets spotted immediately, and customers will call you out on it much earlier, much faster than competitors will, and they know. And so it's such a through line in how we show up, the stories that we tell, the brand that we're building, and the product that we're building. And that's kind of where it started for me at Data IQ is trusted by 750 of the largest global enterprises in banking, in manufacturing, in healthcare, in life sciences, in these highly regulated industries. And it was something that I saw early on and have brought through into our marketing, into the way we go to market, into the way that we think about the brand of Data IQ.
Yeah, I love that. There's so much to be, there's so much intel and insight to take to the table that really allows us to be smarter and more impactful at the end of the day. We're out of time. I can't believe that. I've got one last question for you. What is at risk if marketing does not evolve in the direction that you're talking about?
Whoa, I think maybe, yeah, that's maybe a little like it's not existential, but I think if marketing doesn't evolve to embrace the new way of being systems oriented and to be embracing these new capabilities that every one of our platform, like all of our tools have. One, as an individual marketer, you're going to get left behind. As a marketing organization, you're going to get marginalized. And ultimately, you're going to have a negative impact on the growth of the company that you work for or where you work. And so if you flip it around, right, I think the opportunity for marketing is to be a leader more so than ever in driving revenue, not only driving revenue, but brand authenticity and demand, and in a more efficient, but ultimately more effective way, and be critical and relevant and a leader within companies today.
Yeah, and in all of that leads to ultimately the revenue generation that we're looking for. This conversation for me really reinforces something we believe deeply at Avocet. Awareness without alignment creates noise, but awareness paired with operational clarity creates impact. You talked about people orchestration and governance, and without that, the impact is not going to happen. The companies that win in the next era of AI will not just be the ones talking the loudest, they will be the ones building systems that connect strategy, execution with measurable business outcomes. Thanks for unpacking with us today, Mark, such a deep, deep topic that so many people are interested in today. What is the best way for our audience to get in contact with you?
So really appreciate the conversation, Lori. I also can't believe we're all the way through here already. It was great. So the best way to reach me would be on LinkedIn. Pretty accessible and available. Don't hesitate to reach out if people have questions or follow-ups, and I'd love to keep the conversation going.
Well, I know you certainly will. There's a wealth of information right up there, and we appreciate you sharing that with us today. Thank you so much for your appearance on StrategyCast.
Happy to be here. Thanks, Lori.
That's a wrap. Thanks for joining us on today's show. We hope your strategic brains are spinning with new ideas and bold inspiration that will elevate your strategies and marketing know-how.